What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning episode of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt, to follow me across all socials. And I am exhausted. I walked over 8 miles yesterday at media night, opening night, whatever you want to call it, with the Chiefs and the 49ers. Had a chance to sit in on the press conferences for Mahomes and Kelsey and McCaffrey and Purdy and both coaches. It was a really fun night. I can tell you right away, this is going to be a heavily pro crowd for the 49ers. It makes sense, right? The Niners haven't been in it since the 2019-2020 season, and the Chiefs were there last year. We're on the West Coast. Much easier flight, much easier trip. It's Monday of Super Bowl week, and you can easily feel the energy from the 49ers, their fans. I mean, this is going to be really interesting. It doesn't mean much. I'm not saying this to like bet the Niners or whatnot, but like just in terms of like who has the extra juice, I would say it's the 49ers. Even with what Travis Kelce said about this Super Bowl being the one he wants the most, and he's been the most focused on this Super Bowl, there's a look in the eye of the 49ers like, we're coming here and we're really mad about what happened last time. And we really don't like the fact that we lost the last time and that we came back with Christian McCaffrey. We've come back with something different and new, something that these guys haven't seen before, and we have a chance to make some really big plays. So really interesting. Travis Kelce, I feel for the dude. The guy is going to be a Hall of Famer, and almost every question he got had something to do with Taylor Swift. It was unbelievable. I was like, this is really, really weird. Like, I'm not saying it in sort of like a chauvinistic or some type of weird way, but it is odd that the football questions were all phrased like Taylor won the Grammy, so how do you feel like a Super Bowl would match up? Like album of the year versus a Super Bowl ring. Or what's Taylor's new album sound like? Or like, what's it like to have a Swiftie fan base now cheer you on? And well, I mean, I don't know. It was very interesting. It was very kind of, and I'm a Swiftie. I mean, I like Taylor. I went to Taylor's third show on the Eras tour, and you know, a lot of cool stuff. So I am interested how the rest of the week is going to go. Nothing big came out of it, but 3-0 last night. We swept the board. So 0-3 on Sunday, 3-0 on Monday. That's how this stuff goes, unfortunately. It still means we're 3-0, up 3 units on the week. So that's good. It's a good start to the week. I've got 3 more college basketball bets for us coming up here in just 1 second. But first and foremost, omahasteaks.com/juice is the URL to go to get 2 free packages of chicken wings and 1 package of meatballs for free just for using the URL. It is that simple. Go and check out the packages that are available at omahasteaks.com. If you made some money last night, maybe a way of ordering yourself some, big game party packs, right? Get ready for the big game with some steaks and some good food, and get ready to chow down on wings and meatballs and, burgers and pork chops and steaks and all the great stuff at omahasteaks.com. Get there by using our URL, omahasteaks.com/juice. Minimum purchase may be required. Okay. North Carolina. This is a very boring, very simplistic, very easy handicap. You can find 7s. There are some 7.5s. I found a 7 here in Vegas. I just am going to keep betting on North Carolina. I kind of told you guys that a couple of days ago. North Carolina at home is 6-4 against the number, but they're 8-2 over their last 10. They're 8-3 inside the conference. They played Clemson at Clemson, won by 10. Everyone's like, oh, look out. Here comes Clemson. They're going to come. Maybe they can, and maybe I'm dead wrong, okay? But, again, let's run through it, okay? Duke, we bet them. They covered. Georgia Tech, we bet them. They didn't cover. Florida State, we bet them. They covered. Wake Forest, we bet them. They covered. Boston College, we bet them. They covered. We did not bet the Louisville game. They didn't cover. Syracuse, we bet them. They covered. NC State, we bet them. We bet them. They covered. Clemson, we bet them. They're covered. Pittsburgh, we bet them, and they covered. Okay? 2 games in 2024. North Carolina has failed to cover. 2. We did bet one of the 2, but all the rest have cashed. Just not going to go against Carolina for a while. I'm going to have to be put back like in my place here for me to not bet on North Carolina. Look, KenPom has this as a 10-point win, just like the first matchup. The number is 7. This number is going to run most likely. I hope you guys get in on 7.5. Okay? I like Carolina here. I like it for a variety of reasons. I like it because of their offense. I like it because of their defense. I like it because of their pace of play. I think it's a bad matchup for Clemson. Clemson's offense is pretty good, but the defense is not good enough. 83rd in efficiency, 112th in effective field goal percentage, 197th in three-point defense, 85th in two-point defense. Right there, bam. Against this offense for Carolina, the speed, the intensity, RJ Davis, Armando Bacot. He said after the Duke win, the ACC comes through me and us. I don't think he's wrong. Lay the 7, North Carolina, -7 for 1.1 units. Just keep on riding that train. Bet 2. We are going to go and talk a bit about, well, I'll say this. The Wake Forest and Georgia Tech game is interesting. If you want to bet Wake Forest laying 4 on the road, you can. I'm not betting any road favorites. I think it's really dangerous to do so, to be quite honest. I'm concerned about it. But let's talk about a game in the SEC. South Carolina is at home. South Carolina is only laying 4 points. I don't really understand this, okay? So KenPom has this as a 5-point win for South Carolina. But the numbers for South Carolina aren't great. For Mississippi aren't great. They're 4-4 ATS on the road. They're 5-4 ATS in the SEC, but South Carolina is 8-4 ATS at home, and they're 7-2 ATS in the SEC. And they've won 5 games in a row. They've won 5 games in a row against the number. They've also won 5 games in a row straight up. Arkansas as 3-point dogs. Kentucky as 5-point dogs, 5.5-point dogs. Missouri laying 6, they covered. Tennessee +14, they won and covered. Georgia +1.5, they won by 10. This is a hard-charging South Carolina team that, look, I'm not in love with Ole Miss, all right? We watched them. I was on them in their last game up against Auburn. They fell apart. That was at home. They beat Mississippi State in the game before, but that snapped a 3-game winning streak. But on the road, yeah, they beat A&M as 8-point dogs. I think South Carolina's better than A&M. Lost to Auburn by 23 on the road. Lost to LSU by 9 on the road. Lost to Tennessee by 26 on the road. This Ole Miss team is a totally different ball of wax on the road than they are at home. I'm laying the 4 points. Give me South Carolina. Keep the streak. Bet the streak. Let's go to 6. South Carolina -4 at home against Ole Miss. And finally, we're going to the Big East. Yukon is at home up against Butler. Number is 14.5. 14.5. Butler this year, when they've been big dogs, they were catching 10 against Creighton in their last game on the road. They won in overtime outright. They were catching 11.5 on the road against Marquette. They won by 7 outright. I mean, they've been big dogs twice. Now, against Michigan State on the road, they're 10-point dogs in the non-conference, lost by 20. But that was the 4th game of the year. That was their first big major test. Since then, I mean, yes, on the road, Xavier, they were catching 5.5. They lost by 14 points. So, yes, there is that. But Yukon, as big favorites, has been okay. They killed Xavier. Xavier's bad. They were laying 11.5. They killed him. But they laid 13 against Providence. They only won by 9. Didn't cover. They laid 21 against Georgetown at home. They only won by 13. They laid 11 at home against St. John's. Only won by 4. They haven't been great here as monster favorites, in particular in conference, where Yukon is 6-5 in the Big East ATS and just 6-6 at home, either in Hartford or at the Excel Center or in stores. Butler on the road is 6-4 ATS. They're 4-7 in conference, but they've been better of late. They've covered the last 3 games, all in conference in the Big East. I'm going to take the points. Okay, maybe this comes back and burns me. We were on Yukon against St. John's, laying a small number, and they won by 13. But I was on Butler against Creighton, and I'm on Butler again here. I'm not sure they win the game outright, but 14.5 points is too many points in the Big East, okay? This is a hard-fought, tough game coming for Yukon. This is not going to be a walk in the park, and I don't think it's going to be an annihilation by any means. I might be dead wrong on this. Yukon's really good. They're the 3rd best team in the country, according to KenPom. This is a 13-point win according to KenPom. We're catching 14.5, so we have a little bit of cushion there. Butler's offense is 31st in efficiency and 86th in effective field goal percentage, 83rd in three-point percentage, and they are 105th in two-point percentage. We really want to see about the health of Posh Alexander and see if he's going to be available, but I think he's going to be cleared to play in this game. And if that happens, he's questionable. He was held out the game against Creighton. It's unknown if he'll suit up, but I think they were holding out Posh Alexander for the Yukon game. And they won at Creighton without Posh Alexander. And I think they're going to get Posh Alexander back on the court for this game. If my gut tells me anything, the number will crash, by the way. If Posh Alexander plays, the number will come down. So hopefully you guys get the bets in and then the news comes out. But, I mean, this is a guy who can just flat out score the basketball and a really talented player. So hopefully he plays, but I'm taking the 14.5 points. Butler plus 14.5 on the road at Yukon. It's just too many points. And the game's in Hartford, too. It's not at Stores. Tougher place to play. Excel Center is easier place to play. It's a bigger building, but easier place to play for opponents. Butler plus 14.5 for 1.1 units. All right. 3 bets going for us here on a Tuesday. North Carolina -7 at home against Clemson. South Carolina at home -4 against Ole Miss. And Butler plus 14.5 on the road at Yukon, all for 1.1 units. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials. I got a lot of content on my Twitter account at Sports Talk Matt. If you guys want to watch videos, pictures, and other fun stuff from the big media night, opening night, last night here in Las Vegas. Go check that out. Every single morning, the Daily Juice podcast. It's all being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.